You believe the universe is waiting for you to reach it. That belief feels natural. It feels inevitable. Every generation has looked beyond the horizon and imagined that whatever lies farther away will eventually become accessible. Mountains became roads. Oceans became shipping routes. The sky became a place for aircraft and rockets. Progress has conditioned your mind to assume that every limit is temporary, that every obstacle exists only until intelligence discovers the solution. But this assumption quietly collapses the moment you confront the true scale of the universe. The universe is not built around human expectations. It is built around laws. Those laws existed billions of years before the first living cell appeared on Earth. They shaped galaxies before planets existed. They determined the birth of stars long before any conscious mind could question them. They do not recognize ambition. They do not reward determination. They simply define what reality allows and what it forever forbids. Your perception was never designed to understand cosmic distance. Everything your brain evolved to interpret belongs to a remarkably small world. Walking across a room, climbing a hill, traveling between cities, these are distances your nervous system understands because they mattered for survival. Even flying across an entire planet can still fit within your intuition. Yet the moment your attention turns toward the stars, intuition stops being useful. Space is not simply large. It is large beyond the limits of human imagination. The moon appears close enough to touch in the night sky, yet it is nearly 400,000 kilometers away. Light, traveling at approximately 300,000 kilometers every second, the fastest speed permitted by the laws of physics, still requires over 1 second to reach your eyes after leaving the lunar surface. That alone is extraordinary. Then consider the sun. Every sunrise you experience is already part of the past. The sunlight warming your skin began its journey roughly 8 minutes earlier. Even the star that makes life on Earth possible is never seen in real time. Your perception constantly lags behind reality, yet your mind rarely notices because 8 minutes feels insignificant on the scale of everyday life. Now extend that realization farther. The nearest star beyond the sun is over 4 light years away. Not 4 years by spacecraft. 4 years at the speed of light itself. No human has ever traveled anywhere remotely close to that speed. And according to everything modern physics understands, nothing with mass can ever reach it. The nearest neighboring star is separated from humanity by a distance so immense that even to light, the universal speed limit, needs years to bridge the gap. Suddenly, the universe begins to reveal its true character. It is not empty because nothing exists. It feels empty because everything is unimaginably far apart. Your mind often imagines the galaxy as a crowded collection of nearby stars scattered across a dark background. Images from telescopes reinforce this illusion, compressing enormous distances into a flat picture that makes neighboring stars appear almost adjacent. But appearance deceives. If the sun were reduced to the size of a grain of sand, the nearest stellar neighbor would still be hundreds of kilometers away on the same scale. Almost everything between them would remain empty, not slightly empty, almost perfectly empty. This emptiness is one of the deepest truths about existence. Matter occupies only a tiny fraction of the observable universe. Galaxies themselves are separated by distances so vast that even millions of years become insignificant compared to the time required for light to cross the cosmic void. Your brain struggles to comprehend numbers like trillions or quadrillions because evolution never required such understanding. Reality, however, has no obligation to remain inside the boundaries of human intuition. The universe operates comfortably at scales your imagination cannot naturally visualize. This is the first illusion that must disappear. Distance is not merely an inconvenience waiting for better technology. Distance is part of reality's architecture. Every law of physics interacts with it. Every journey must obey it. Every civilization, no matter how advanced, must confront it. Intelligence cannot erase scale any more than mathematics can erase gravity. Knowledge expands understanding. But understanding does not automatically remove limitation. This realization begins to dismantle another comforting belief that the universe exists as humanity's future destination. Popular imagination often assumes that enough time guarantees access to the stars. Given centuries or millennia, civilization will eventually spread across the galaxy as naturally as it spread across continents. Physics offers no such promise. Nature has never guaranteed that every place can be reached simply because it exists. There is a profound difference between possibility and imagination. Your imagination moves instantly from one galaxy to another. Thought ignores distance completely. Reality does not. Every atom must cross every meter of space. Every particle must obey every physical law encountered along the way. The universe never grants shortcuts because consciousness wishes they existed. This is where your perception begins to recalibrate. You are not observing a cosmic ocean waiting for explorers. You are observing a structure governed by uncompromising mathematical rules. Every star, every planet, every galaxy occupies its position within a framework that neither knows nor cares what intelligent life hopes to accomplish. That realization feels uncomfortable because it challenges one of humanity's oldest instincts, the belief that every frontier eventually surrenders. Some frontiers do not surrender. Some are not barriers waiting to be overcome. They are the visible edges of reality itself. The universe is not daring you to cross it. It is revealing the scale of the laws that created it. And before any discussion of engines, spacecraft, or future civilizations can even begin, one truth already stands unchallenged. The greatest obstacle between you and the stars is not technology. It is the universe itself. Your mind has been trained to believe that every limit can eventually be broken. History encourages this illusion. There was a time when mountains seemed impossible to cross. Oceans looked endless. The speed of sound was once believed to be an absolute barrier. Every generation witnessed impossible achievements becoming ordinary, and from this pattern emerged a dangerous assumption that every boundary is temporary. If humanity waits long enough, invents better machines, and gathers enough knowledge, every destination will eventually become reachable. Physics does not share this optimism. There is a profound difference between a technological limitation and a physical law. Ology changes because intelligence improves. Physical laws remain exactly the same whether the universe is 1 second old or 100 billion years old. They are not suggestions. They are not challenges waiting to be solved. They are the mathematical framework from which reality itself emerges. One of those laws quietly governs every movement in existence. Nothing carrying mass can travel faster than light. This statement is often repeated, but rarely understood. It is not simply a rule about speed. It is a statement about the structure of space-time itself. Light is not fast because it possesses extraordinary power. Light travels at the maximum speed because space-time allows nothing to exceed it. The universe has already defined the ultimate limit before the first atom ever formed. Imagine accelerating a spacecraft. At first, the increase in speed seems familiar. More fuel produces more acceleration. More energy produces higher velocity. Everyday experience suggests that this process should continue forever. If enough energy is available, eventually any speed should become possible. Reality takes a completely different path. According to Einstein's theory of relativity, every increase in velocity changes the relationship between matter, energy, space, and time. As an object approaches the speed of light, adding more energy becomes increasingly inefficient. Each additional fraction of speed requires dramatically more energy than the last. The closer the object moves toward light speed, the more impossible further acceleration becomes. This is not because engines become weaker. It is because reality itself pushes back. No matter how advanced a civilization becomes, no finite amount of energy can accelerate an object with mass to the speed of light. The required energy grows without bound. The universe effectively places the finish line at a distance that can never be reached. That realization destroys one of humanity's deepest assumptions. Progress is not infinite. There are questions that intelligence can answer, There are problems that engineering can solve, and there are limits that existence itself refuses to negotiate. This distinction matters because your intuition constantly confuses invention with authority. You assume that because humans have repeatedly overcome obstacles, the universe must ultimately surrender every secret. But nature has never promised unlimited freedom. Every achievement in science has succeeded only because it discovered rules that already existed, not because it persuaded reality to change. The laws of physics are not inventions. They are discoveries. Human civilization did not create gravity. It merely learned to describe it. It did not invent electromagnetism. It uncovered patterns that had governed the cosmos for billions of years. In exactly the same way, relativity does not impose an artificial restriction on movement. It reveals a limit that has always been embedded within the fabric of existence. Then comes an even stranger realization. The speed limit of the universe is deeply connected to time itself. Your everyday experience tells you that time flows equally for everyone. Every clock appears to measure the same seconds. Every calendar seems universal. This perception feels so obvious that questioning it appears absurd. Physics quietly dismantles that certainty. Time is not absolute. Two observers moving at different speeds do not experience time identically. As velocity increases, time itself slows relative to those who remain behind. This phenomenon, known as time dilation, is not theoretical speculation. It has been measured repeatedly using extraordinarily precise atomic clocks. Satellites orbiting Earth must constantly correct for relativistic effects. Without these corrections, modern navigation systems would rapidly become inaccurate. Time, therefore, is not the invisible river your mind imagines. It is part of spacetime, a dynamic component of reality influenced by motion and gravity. This means that every attempt to travel enormous distances changes not only where you are, but also how you experience the passage of time. A journey approaching the speed of light would not simply carry a traveler across space. It would separate their experience of time from everyone left behind. Years for one observer could become decades or centuries for another. Distance is no longer the only obstacle. Time itself becomes part of the barrier. Then comes another realization that challenges everything your perception calls now. There is no universal present. The moment you believe exists across the cosmos does not actually exist. Events happening on distant worlds cannot be assigned a single shared current moment that every observer agrees upon. Relativity reveals that simultaneity depends on motion. Two events judged to happen at the same time by one observer may occur at different times for another moving differently through space-time. Your mind instinctively believes the universe is synchronized. Reality says otherwise. Every conscious experience unfolds inside a local frame of reference. The present you experience belongs to your position, your motion, and your path through space-time. It is not a cosmic truth shared everywhere. This realization is deeply unsettling because it exposes another illusion created by human perception. You experience reality directly, but you do not. Everything you see is delayed by the finite speed of light. Looking across a room means seeing a tiny fraction of the past. Looking at the moon means seeing it over 1 second ago. Looking at the sun means seeing 8 minutes into history. Looking at distant galaxies means observing light that began its journey millions or even 2 billions of years before humanity existed. In a literal physical sense, the universe you observe is always a record of what has already happened. You never witness reality exactly as it is. You witness reality as light delivers it. This is not a flaw in human vision. It is the unavoidable consequence of living inside a universe where information itself has a maximum speed. The more deeply physics investigates existence, the more one conclusion becomes impossible to ignore. Interstellar travel is not difficult because human technology is immature. It is difficult because every attempt must negotiate with the deepest architecture for space-time itself. The universe has already established its boundaries, not through force, not through intention, but through laws so fundamental that without them, reality itself could not exist. And the farther your mind reaches toward the stars, the more clearly it discovers that the greatest obstacle was never distance alone. It was the very structure of existence, even if the impossible became possible, even if humanity discovered a propulsion system far beyond anything imagined today, even if a spacecraft could approach the ultimate speed limit imposed by relativity, the universe would still present another obstacle, not distance, not energy, time itself. More specifically, the direction in which time moves. Every second that passes is part of a process so fundamental that it shapes every atom, every galaxy, every living organism, and every civilization that will ever exist. This process has only one direction. It has never reversed. It has never paused. It has never shown mercy. Physics calls it entropy. Most people hear the word and think of disorder or decay. But entropy is far deeper than either of those ideas. It is one of the most fundamental principles governing reality. It describes the tendency for energy to become more evenly distributed, for useful energy to become less available, and for the universe to move from states of lower probability toward states of higher probability. This is not simply what happens to old buildings or dying stars. It is what happens to everything. Your body constantly fights entropy. Every heartbeat, every breath, every thought inside your brain requires energy to maintain order against nature's relentless tendency toward disorder. The moment that flow of energy stops, your body begins returning to the same physical laws that govern every other collection of matter. Life is not an exception to entropy. Life is a temporary resistance against it. The same truth applies to civilizations. Every machine wears down. Every fuel source becomes depleted. Every structure slowly deteriorates. Every star consumes the nuclear fuel that allows it to shine. Nothing escapes this process. Not because something destroys it, because the universe itself evolves in that direction. This realization changes how interstellar travel must be understood. The challenge is not simply crossing enormous distances. The challenge is maintaining order long enough to survive the journey. A spacecraft traveling between stars would not exist outside the laws of thermodynamics. Every system on board would slowly degrade. Every material would experience stress from radiation, temperature changes, microscopic impacts, and the unavoidable aging of matter itself. Every kilogram of fuel would represent energy that can only be used once. Nothing inside the universe operates without cost. Every action increases entropy somewhere. Every engine transforms organized energy into less useful forms. There is no perfectly efficient machine. There never can be. This is not an engineering limitation waiting for improvement. It is the second law of thermodynamics, one of the deepest laws reality possesses. The universe does not allow perfect efficiency, because perfect efficiency would violate its own statistical nature. Every physical process leaves behind waste energy. Every transformation comes with irreversible consequences. Even the brightest star shines only because it is gradually exhausting itself. The sun is not an eternal source of life. It is slowly dying. At this very moment, roughly 600 million tons of hydrogen disappear inside its core. Every second through nuclear fusion, a portion of that mass becomes pure energy, according to Einstein's famous relationship between mass and energy. That energy travels across space and eventually reaches Earth, making every sunrise possible. But every sunrise is also evidence that the sun has become slightly older, slightly closer to its end. The same is true for every star visible in the night sky. Every one of them is living on borrowed time. Some will exhaust their fuel quietly, shrinking into white dwarfs. Others will explode with unimaginable violence, scattering heavy elements across space. Some of those elements will eventually become planets. Some will become oceans. Some will become living cells. Some will become minds, capable of wondering where they came from. Creation and destruction are not opposites. They are different stages of the same physical process. This is one of the most unsettling truths modern cosmology has revealed. The universe is not becoming more organized with time. Overall, it is becoming less organized. Galaxies continue to evolve. Stars continue to form. Life continues to emerge in rare environments. Yet beneath all of these local moments of complexity lies an unavoidable global trend. The amount of usable energy is decreasing, slowly, relentlessly. irreversibly. Physicists often describe this future as the universe moving toward thermal equilibrium, a state where energy differences disappear and no meaningful work can be extracted. This distant possibility is sometimes called the heat death of the universe. It does not mean everything suddenly freezes or explodes. It means that after unimaginable stretches of time, the cosmos may become a place where stars no longer shine, galaxies grow dark, and the energy required to sustain organized structures is no longer available. The universe itself is slowly running down, not because it failed, because that is exactly what its laws predict. Then comes another realization that completely overturns your everyday perception of reality. Your body feels solid. Your hands feel solid. The ground beneath your feet feels unquestionably real. Yet this certainty is an illusion created by your senses. Atoms, the building blocks of everything you see, are almost entirely empty space. If the nucleus of an atom were enlarged to the size of a marble placed at the center of a vast stadium, the electrons would occupy regions near the outer edges, leaving almost the entire volume between them empty. The overwhelming majority of what appears solid is actually space. So why can't your hand pass through a wall? Not because matter is solid in the way your mind imagines. It is because the electrons in your atoms repel the electrons in the wall through electromagnetic forces. Quantum mechanics also prevents identical particles from occupying the same quantum states under ordinary conditions. What you interpret as physical contact is actually the interaction of invisible fields. You have never truly touched anything. You have only experienced forces acting across incredibly small distances. Reality is stranger than language was ever designed to describe. The objects surrounding you appear permanent. In truth, every atom inside your body is constantly exchanging energy with its environment. Many of the atoms that compose you today were not part of your body years ago. Cells divide. Molecules break apart. Proteins are replaced. Even the matter you identify as yourself is in continuous motion. Your identity feels stable. Your material composition is constantly changing. The universe is not made of static objects. It is made of ongoing processes. This realization reaches even deeper. The stars you admire are temporary. The planets beneath your feet are temporary. Your body is temporary. Even the atoms themselves may not last forever, depending on which theories of particle physics ultimately prove correct. Impermanence is not an accident of existence. It is one of its defining characteristics. The farther physics pushes into the foundations of reality, the less the universe resembles the fixed, dependable world your senses present. Stability becomes temporary. Solidity becomes mostly empty space. Permanence becomes continuous transformation. And this changes the meaning of interstellar travel completely. The greatest challenge is no longer finding a way to cross the darkness between stars. It is recognizing that the traveler, the spacecraft, the stars, and even the universe they move through are all participating in the same irreversible flow toward change. Nothing is standing still. Nothing is preserved forever. Everything is already moving with time toward a future that no amount of intelligence can stop. The universe is not waiting to be conquered. It is already changing faster than any civilization can hope to outrun. This is the realization your mind resists more than any law of physics. You can accept that the universe is vast. You can accept that stars are unimaginably distant. You can even accept that time bends, matter is mostly empty space, and entropy slowly dismantles everything that exists. But there is one truth that strikes far deeper. The universe does not know you are here. That statement sounds harsh because your perception has been shaped around yourself since the moment you became conscious. Every memory belongs to you. Every emotion is experienced through your nervous system. Every fear, every dream, every success, and every failure feels like the center of reality because they occupy the center of your awareness. Your consciousness creates the illusion that you occupy a privileged position within existence. Physics says otherwise. The laws governing the birth of galaxies are exactly the same whether intelligent life exists or not. Gravity does not become stronger because someone hopes for a different future. Nuclear fusion inside distant stars does not burn brighter because civilizations look toward the night sky with curiosity. Black holes do not consume matter with purpose or intention. They follow equations, nothing more. Nature is astonishingly precise. It is also completely indifferent. This indifference is often misunderstood as cruelty. It is not. Cruelty requires intention. The universe has none. It does not reward virtue. It does not punish arrogance. It does not recognize ambition. It simply unfolds according to mathematical relationships that existed billions of years before Earth formed and will continue long after humanity disappears. That realization forces your ego into an uncomfortable position. For most of history, human beings imagined themselves at the center of creation. Ancient civilizations looked toward the heavens and assumed the stars revolved around Earth. It felt obvious because every sunrise and sunset appeared to confirm it. Then astronomy dismantled that illusion. Earth was revealed to orbit the sun. Later discoveries showed that the sun itself is only one ordinary star among hundreds of billions within the Milky Way. The story did not end there. The Milky Way itself became only one galaxy among hundreds of billions scattered across the observable universe. Each discovery removed humanity from another imagined center. The pattern has never reversed. The deeper science investigates reality, the smaller your place becomes. Your planet is not the center of the solar system. Your solar system is not the center of the galaxy. Your galaxy is not the center of the universe. Modern cosmology suggests there may not even be a center at all. The universe expands everywhere simultaneously. Every galaxy observes distant galaxies moving away, not because one location occupies a privileged position, but because space-time itself is expanding. The idea of a single cosmic center may simply have no physical meaning. Your intuition desperately searches for significance through location. Reality refuses to provide it. Then comes another realization that reaches beneath identity itself. Everything you call you is built from matter that once belonged to something else. The calcium inside your bones, the iron flowing through your blood, the oxygen filling your lungs, the carbon forming every cell in your body. None of these elements originated on Earth. The early universe produced mostly hydrogen and helium. The heavier elements required for planets and life did not exist until generations of stars forged them through nuclear fusion. When those stars exhausted their fuel, many exploded as supernovae, scattering their newly created elements across interstellar space. Those atoms drifted through the galaxy for millions, sometimes billions of years. Eventually, gravity gathered some of them into a young planetary system. One of those planets became Earth. Some of those atoms entered oceans. Some became part of living organisms. Eventually, a tiny fraction assembled into your body. This is not metaphor. It is astrophysics. You are literally composed of material manufactured inside stars that died long before the sun was born. The atoms carrying your thoughts today once existed inside stellar furnaces hotter than anything humanity will ever create. Your body is ancient. Your consciousness is temporary. That distinction matters. Many people unconsciously imagine themselves as permanent beings, temporarily occupying a changing universe. Physics suggests almost the opposite. The universe endures. Individual arrangements of matter do not. Every atom in your body may survive for billions of years. The arrangement called you almost certainly will not. Identity is a pattern, not a permanent object. Even the brain reinforces this reality. The cells inside your nervous system continuously exchange molecules with their surroundings. Proteins are synthesized and broken down. Chemical signals appear and disappear in fractions of a second. Memories themselves are not fixed photographs stored forever inside the mind. They are dynamic, physical processes that change every time they are recalled. The person you believe has remained identical throughout life has been changing continuously. Your body changes. Your brain changes. Your experiences reshape the physical structure of your nervous system. Stability is largely an illusion produced by continuity. Then comes perhaps the most unsettling realization of all. Consciousness, the very thing that feels most certain, is not fully understood. Science can identify neural activity associated with awareness. It can observe electrical patterns, chemical communication, and large-scale brain networks. Yet the subjective experience of being conscious remains one of the deepest unsolved questions in modern physics and neuroscience. You experience awareness directly, but you do not fully understand how the universe produces it. This creates a profound irony. The greatest mystery you will ever encounter is not hidden beyond the edge of the observable universe. It exists inside the very process reading these words, your own awareness. Yet even if consciousness remains mysterious, one conclusion becomes increasingly difficult to escape. Nothing discovered by modern science suggests that the universe was constructed around human importance. The equations describing gravity never mention purpose. Quantum mechanics never assigns special status to human desire. Relativity does not distinguish between a civilization and a grain of cosmic dust. The same laws govern them both. This realization is not meant to diminish your existence. It is meant to place it in its proper context. Your life matters deeply to you because your consciousness experiences every moment from within. That significance is real on the human scale. But the universe does not measure importance through emotion. It measures only interactions, energy, mass, momentum, and the geometry of spacetime. Your ego seeks a universe that acknowledges it. Reality offers no such recognition. And that silence is one of the most honest truths physics has ever revealed. The stars do not shine for you. The galaxies do not expand because of you. The universe did not wait for your arrival. It simply produced the conditions under which a temporary collection of ancient stardust became capable of asking one extraordinary question. What is all of this? The remarkable truth is not that the universe answers. The remarkable truth is that for a brief moment in cosmic history, a tiny part of the universe became aware that it exists.